have to be quick. So, like I told you, I wanted to do a reading of the book, so I'm gonna jump right into it. So here you're on your second parole hearing. Is there anything you would like to say to the panel before we begin? The question threw him off guard because to him it felt as if he was interviewing for his freedom. That is basically what the parole board is all about. It's a procedure they put you through for preliminary purposes, and the whole time you're there, you're auditioning for your release. They didn't listen to you because to them, you are a hardened criminal and don't deserve a chance to be reunited with your family. If they could have it their way, they wouldn't even hold those parole hearings. To them, it's a waste of time. But today, it was his only chance of being released. What was important to him didn't make any difference to the members of the parole board. They placed 3 arrogant, insensitive, and inhumane people with the power to control your destiny, which was scary to him. They'd never met him before, and all they could do was look at a folder with his files to base their decisions on. That is way too much power to give to heartless people, because they had no idea the shit he had to endure throughout his incarceration. They were fortunate enough to go home at the end of the day, so they could care less. They felt as if they were doing society a favor by holding you in for a longer period of time, but that was all politics. In their minds, he didn't deserve to be released, because his record indicated to them he was defiant and resented authority. They easily justified their actions based on a scandalous and inaccurate analysis of his folder. Many prisoners were given breaks because he witnessed this all the time, as all the wrong people were released. They were usually pedophiles and rapists who usually came back to prison within a year. The system was biased and backwards. They'd rather gamble on people like that when the recidivism rate on them was greater than 50%. They felt comfortable with people who fondled kids and raped women and gave them a chance, and when it came time to make a decision on you, they would often bring up dumb shit that may have occurred when you were a toddler. Although they didn't have a sound reason to hold you, if they saw something in your past worth mentioning in their files, they'd exhaust that to the best of their ability. Their job was to find a reason not to release you before they gave you a free pass to go home. They don't owe you anything, and you are not entitled to shit. Going home is not an option. It's regarded as a privilege. If you are released, you can give thanks to God because they probably needed your space, as the prison was probably overcrowded. Prison is a revolving door because just as soon as you are being released, there's some unfortunate individual being processed to take the bed you left behind. There's never a shortage of convicted criminals in the society we live in because society makes it virtually impossible to live a normal life upon release. Crime is prevalent in our communities because ex-offenders are released to society with no direction and without any positive outlets to guide them in the right direction. Employers don't hire you once they're aware that you're an ex-felon. They claim equal opportunity on applications, but there's a catch-22. After you have paid your dues to society and released, you still find yourself paying for your past because some of the doors that were available to you prior to your incarceration are closed shut upon your release. This is the reality that society does not want to address, as if there is a secret society working hard to keep convicted felons out of the workforce and give them limited access to quality jobs. How does the average criminal pass a 10-year background check when they just finished serving a 15-year sentence? That is literally impossible, and then society wonders why people go home and end up back in jail. The environment is structured this way because they need us to do crime so that their business can continue to flourish. The laws that are out now do not protect us, especially if you're black, and if you're white, then you are just as bad as any other felon because you shouldn't be in that situation to begin with, according to politicians. Laws and religion are used to divide and keep people separated, and as long as that continues, there will never be peace on earth. Are you okay, sir? Because I just asked you a question, the chairman asked. Day had blanked out for a minute, thinking about all the politics that would come to play in his hearing. He hadn't heard a word from anyone and was in his own little zone. His mind traveled far and beyond, since he had always been a thinker. If only he had thought of not barging in on the door when the phone was ringing. then maybe he wouldn't be in his present situation. Everything played its part in sequence, which led to his arrest, and he knew being away from home played a major role in that, because he didn't have to be on the block. "Yeah, I'm fine," he answered. "Then answer me when I speak to you," the first chairperson said in an offensive tone. Dave was shocked at the remark and was heated just that fast. He didn't like when people spoke to him that way because he was not a child. The board used reverse psychology to get underneath his skin. Their job was to demoralize and make him feel less than a man while making him upset. Once they had accomplished that, their job had been done, and if he chose to respond to their behavior, he would be making their job that less difficult. They wanted him to bark back, so they would have a reason, but he maintained his composure. "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." He fought the words as they came out of his mouth. "What happened when you were 16? I'm seeing here that you had to be sent away," the chairman asked. He couldn't believe they dug so deep and stooped that low. Nothing seemed to surprise him with these people. Being sent away implied that he was out of control and reckless. If his own family could get rid of him, why should they release him? This gave them a reason to search for answers as he thought about how he was going to make his rebuttal. "I was a kid back then, but I'm grown up now. I'm not that same 16-year-old kid I once was. I'm 21 years old now, and I'm currently in college with 38 credits under my belt. And I have been staying out of trouble," he explained. He kept it simple and had nothing to say before being interrupted. "So what happened in high school? Were you seeing a therapist? How was that?" the chairman asked. Now they were implying that he was crazy.